Well, we went into this transfer window worried we were going to lose key players like Matondo and Moss. In the end, it's gone a little differently, but still pretty odd. We've broken 3 transfer records over the course of this transfer window, with a record sale, a record purchase, and then another record purchase. I think the squad has improved. Hello and welcome to part 95 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 games in the Championship, at home against Wigan and away against Birmingham. Since you were last with me, form has been a little bit mixed in January. But we have faced some tough opposition. All of these teams, with the exception of, I think, QPR, are in and around the promotion playoff mix in the Championship, and we're still very much a part of that discussion. 31 games played. We do have a game in hand on everybody around us. We're on 54 points. In 6th place, so that final playoff spot, but we know if we win our game in hand, we suddenly leap up to 4th place, going over Middlesbrough and Rotherham. So things are going pretty well. As you can see by the fact he's still blue, we've still got Matondo, which is excellent news. And you would never guess, if I gave you 30 guesses, you would not guess who our new record sale is. It's one of the Patreon youngsters who came through last summer. It's our third choice or our formerly third choice right back. Yancy La Rochelle Williams has gone to Southampton for £2 million. 16 years old. There is no sell-on or anything. This is another one of those where the board have just decided to accept it for me. I had a bit of an argument with them about it. I almost pushed them too far and then remembered I really can't get sacked in this series because I kind of don't have a plan B for if I get sacked. So I ended up backing off. But they really wanted to sell him. I really wanted to keep him, despite the fact he was not going to feature in our first team this season, to the point where I've not even bothered bringing him back on loan, which you know is rare for me. We will keep tabs on him in the future, and presumably things won't work out at Southampton and he will end up back with us, just like with all the others. But for now, we have a new record sale. A 16-year-old has gone to a team in the same division for £2 million. If that doesn't show you that we are absolutely not playing on a level playing field here in the Championship, I don't know what else does. Southampton are the team top of the league that we're in, and they're able to spend £2 million on one of our kids that neither of us had any intention of playing. So that's a bit mad, really. If we have a look, how do we have a look at I want to see the bit that shows. I can never remember how to find this. Stats, isn't it? Team overview, I think. No, team detailed. So we can just check in on the finances again. So net transfer spend. We're actually 10th for net transfer spend because we did go and spend some of that money. But salary per annum is the real telling thing. Southampton, who spent £2 million on one of our kids, only 3rd highest salaries in the Championship, and us, despite bringing in 2 record transfers, are still only spending £4 million a year on salaries. So not a level playing field, like I say. But as mentioned, we did break our own incoming transfer record twice on deadline day as well. You could call them panic buys. I would call them, certainly in the case of Mark McLeish, a player we've wanted for a long time. In the summer, we wanted a 3rd centre-back. Mark McLeish is a very good one. 22-year-old Scottish under-21 international, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. So he's already as good as Ross Wright. Could end up as good or better than Alan Rodgers. We've actually brought a player in who's already a good player for most Championship sides and has the potential to continue to improve. He was playing for Motherwell on loan from Rangers, but I mean, he's been playing regularly in the Scottish Premiership for the last 3 years now. I know he's not made it into the Rangers team, but I would suggest the likes of Motherwell, we're roughly at their level, aren't we? Motherwell, where are they in the Scottish Premiership? 6th in the Scottish Premiership. That's roughly equivalent to playoffs in the Championship, isn't it, player-wise? And he was playing regularly for them. So we've got Mark McLeish in for what at the time was a record transfer fee of £275,000. That transfer record lasted about 3 hours because we then went and bought Ollie Steer, who is going to be... I mean, my thinking is a Matondo replacement if we don't get to keep Matondo going into next season. Ollie Steer is a 19-year-old England under-19 international who is a pressing forward, so slightly different type of player to what we've got with Matondo, but should fit better into the gegenpress system that we use. Already a 3-star ability player, 5-star potential ability, makes him almost as good as Matondo and Harris already, with the potential to end up better than both of them, and a better option than Karl Marsh and, of course, Sir Mick Powell. I almost sacked my assistant manager because upon Ollie Steer arriving at the club, I got the message come through on the inbox saying how Sir Mick Powell is no longer needed and we should transfer list him. I didn't sack the assistant manager, but obviously I've also not transfer listed Sir Mick Powell. We'll keep him around forever. But Ollie Steer, not necessarily someone I expect to come straight into the team immediately, although he might, but very much one for the future, one for next season is what I'm thinking. And I can't believe we've spent £325,000 on a teenager who's not coming straight into our first team. Even Kev from the summer wouldn't have understand a world where that's a thing that can happen. And despite bringing in those two players, we've also still got a bunch of money in the bank, £2.5 million in the bank. Our projection, we won't be in debt at the end of this season. Obviously, we will next season if we're still in the Championship. But clearly, being in and around the Championship promotion spots and continuing to churn out young players the way we have done. I mean, Larishel Williams is someone who came through last summer. So we said it was a golden generation 2 that came through last summer, and we've already lost one of them. But there's 2 or 3 more who are similar kind of potential ability that they either come good for our first team or keep us financially afloat by leaving for £2-3 million. We turned down offers of £1 million plus for Oliver Gregson and Ross Wright as well. So I think we've kind of moved up. We've moved up a tier. Our reputation doesn't seem to have changed, but I think the game itself is starting to recognise we're operating on a slightly higher financial tier now, and because of that, we're not only getting better offers coming for our players, but I think we're probably being expected to pay a little bit more for players that we're signing as well, because I mean, I don't know. Ollie Steer, yes, he looks good, and I'm sure he will end up very good, but is he significantly better than the kind of player we could bring in on a free from the West Ham youth team next summer? Probably not, but at least we've got him in now. Plus, he's got a little beard that's a different colour to his hair, so that goes in his favour. I mean, my beard's lighter than my hair, isn't it? Ollie Steer's basically an anti-Kev. I don't know how I feel about that. Oh. Right, let's get into the game anyway. We've looked at transfers long enough. We're playing Wigan at home, and we get to see at least one debut, maybe 2, because Steer is down on the bench as well. So we're going with Humphreys in goal. That's purely because Watson is injured. Watson's going to be out for a couple of weeks. Watson's done a bit of a Mick Powell, actually. We've had an inbox notification come through about him, talking about how good he is and also how much better he's going to get. There was a little bit of criticism in the summer for not signing a championship quality goalkeeper. Well, now we have a championship quality goalkeeper with the potential to be a Premier League quality goalkeeper. Gary Watson's going to be our keeper for years to come. And Humphreys back in the side today, who I didn't realise, Kobe Humphreys has been with us 7 seasons now. He's played nearly 150 league games. So we're getting some players with a little bit of longevity knocking around the place. So Humphreys in goal, a back 4 of Wearmouth, Rogers, Debutant, McLeish and Gregson. Harrison at the base of the midfield, Fernandez and Sawinski ahead of him, and then Moss in behind Matondo and Harris, who both need to maintain high performance levels with Ollie Steer. Now, I mean, he wants to force his way into this team. He's also capable of playing in central midfield as well, which presumably means he'll also be able to play as an attacking midfielder if we train him to do so. So we've potentially got a bit of a James Burgess situation on our hands there with Steer as well. If we do sign Matondo permanently in the summer, and they're our strike partnership for years, there's no reason why Steer can't force his way into the team in one of these positions as well, if his potential is as good as it seems to be at the moment. Ross Wright is probably thinking, what's going on here? You turned down £1.5 million for me in the summer. You stuck a £4 million asking price on my head, and I'm now sat on the bench for home. How has this happened? Well, Ross, there'll be plenty of time for you to force your way back into the team. Worry not. I like the fact that we've actually got 3 good centre-backs now, something we haven't had all season. We've been very, very lucky to not pick up injuries to Rogers or Wright, because they're the only 2 centre-backs we've had at the club. So congratulations for staying fit all that time. You've been rewarded by a bit of a rest on the bench. And don't worry, Rogers will get a rest at some point as well. So what are we doing? I didn't look to see where Wigan are in the league, so I don't know. Apparently we're Wigan are third place. We're 10th on form. Okay, so Wigan are actually quite a decent side. So what we need to do, the media have been praising you lately. Don't know, just yeah, it's time to start improving. Let's do that one. It's time to start improving. Form has been a little bit ropey throughout January, and hopefully by bringing in a new centre-back, I mean, really, we've brought in 2 first-team ready players, got £1.5 million in the bank as well, and lost a youth team right-back. It's just about the perfect situation for us. So as much as I did argue with the board about it, and it was mainly because I want that feature adding to the game. Sports Interactive, if you're watching, when the board come and do the whole, and it might be in there and I just don't know how to access it, but when the board accept an offer over my head, I don't necessarily even want to overturn them. I want to be able to have the conversation with them and say, look, yes, £2 million now is lovely. I now accept you want £2 million for this player and you're going to sell him if you get that kind of offer. Can I now take that information, go back and negotiate a deal that gets us a sell-on and a friendly and some money for England appearances and stuff like that? So I think what I want, it's very rarely I have seen Anthony Harris has scored, yay for home. But what I want, and it's very rarely I suggest a new feature for Football Manager, but this is the new feature that I want to be able to, in a meeting with the board, agree what the price we're going to sell players for, or what our asking prices for players are. You've got the facility to say what your asking price is in game. I want there to be the option to have that conversation with the board so that we all know that we're pulling in the same direction. I put a £3.5 million asking price on La Rochelle Williams. A few days before, I turned down £1.5 million with sell-ons, and only to have £2 million accepted. And if he ends up as good as Dean Morris and go in for £20 million in 2 years' time, then yeah, £2 million now was great. But if we'd had a 40% sell-on, that would have been even better. And it's a frustration. So can we have that added to the game, please? And thank you. And I will now proceed to commentate on the game in front of me rather than having my little rant. And we are 1-0 up against Wigan, which is delicious, although they're going to score here. Right, back to talking about other things, because clearly the players were enjoying playing without the pressure of me watching. So we need to talk about something else. Let's talk about the fact I am wearing a very stylish home shirt, which is very snazzy indeed. I've got my home mug in front of me as well. This not available anymore. This still available. Link is down in the description. And it's an excellent mug. I think, and I'm not just saying this because I'm not a sellout, but I think coffee tastes better out of this mug. It's just a delight. Right, what are we going to do at half-time in this game? We're going to in good form, but we were the better team, presumably. Were you watching? I wasn't. I was chatting to you lot. Right, we are going to... we're not doing too badly. If everyone continues to work hard, we'll win this. I like that one. We'll do that one assertively. We'll get back out there for the second half. We need to be keeping an eye on McLeish as well. We've got a record signing debut going on. Wearmouth is going to get sent off here. No, he's not. He's not even going to get booked. Here's a football trivia question for you down in the comments. McLeish is making his debut today, having been a record signing when he signed, but no longer the record signing when he made his debut. Examples of that from real life football, please. Presumably there's going to be examples of that from both Chelsea and Manchester City just after their takeovers. But I want examples of players who signed for a club as a record signing, but by the time they made their debut, they weren't the record signing anymore. Let me know down in the comments of examples of that from real life. Matondo has just got his 24th goal of the season, and it was an absolute stunner. Let's look at that from the other angle. Gregson, who is now back in the team, having recovered from injured. Teasdale has been very good, deputising for him. When I got an offer for over £1 million in for Gregson, part of me was thinking, let's accept that and keep Teasdale and La Rochelle Williams. So Teasdale as the starter, promote La Rochelle Williams to have him as the backup to Teasdale, and let Gregson go. But in the end I thought, no, Gregson has been player of the year in the Championship last year. He's up there again this year. Let's put our faith in Gregson and just keep all three of them. We can always sell one of them in the summer. And then the board did the dirty on me. Gregson is coming off because he's not playing particularly well today and he's tired. So Teasdale can come on and continue to show that he's a perfectly adequate deputy. We're also going to bring Knowles on in midfield. We're going to swap those two over. No, we're going to swap those two over to get Fernandez playing as the Mezzala. and we're going to give it 10 minutes, and then what I want to do is have a look at Ollie Steer. So I think we're probably going to take Matondo off, and we're going to be playing a different kind of striker. So let's get him on being the pressing forward on attack. So we've got Harris, who runs all day long as an advanced forward, now with a proper pressing forward alongside him, and we'll have a first look at Ollie Steer to see if he's going to be the player that is going to fire us on to that next level. That's what we want from him. We want him to fulfil that huge potential that he's got. I want a real hard-working striker to go alongside a fluent, prolific goal scorer like Harris. We're preparing for life without Matondo. That's what it's all about. There is Steer trying to play Harris in, doesn't quite slot it through the gap, and Wigan are coming at us with a last opportunity of the game, really. Can we intercept through Teasdale? We can't really, and there is the full-time whistle. Not a moment too soon as well. We'll give them their good win, boys. Well done. We're back to winning ways, which is excellent stuff, and hopefully we'll continue that run of form against Birmingham. Wigan were the third informed team in the division. They're down in 19th. They must have just got a new manager. Away to Birmingham now, and we hopefully pick up another win. Right, no changes for the Birmingham game then, other than the fact that I have now added personalised player role instructions to all of my strikers, because it's getting complicated now. I've got these two. He's a complete forward on attack. He's an advanced forward. We know Mick Powell's a poacher. We've now got a pressing forward on attack. I'm fed at changing it. So now I want to be able to say, right, if I'm playing Steer, he immediately becomes a pressing forward. And it's saving me like 3 clicks a day, but I'm a lazy man. The feature's there. I've just been moaning about a feature that's not in the game. There's a useful feature that's in the game that I'm not using. Now I'm using it. Let's go and attempt to beat Birmingham. We probably do need to figure out a position for Lerick Fernandez as well. It's been how many seasons now have I been saying Fernandez and Sawinski can't play together? They're still in the same midfield. Fernandez still doesn't really perform, and he's still not playing a position that suits him, but I just can't bring myself to drop him. There'll be our central midfield partnership when we win the Champions League. The rest of the team will be world-class players around them, and we'll just have Sawinski and Fernandez in the middle there, plugging away like the non-league players they originally were. Right, Birmingham have recent form standings. So this is another team that are down in the relegation battles, but are in great form. Let's do exactly the same team talk that we did against Wigan and hope for exactly the same result. So Wigan were down there in 20th. Birmingham, okay, they're in 14th. That's not quite a relegation battle, but they're not a million miles away from a relegation battle. We're obviously not in a relegation battle anymore. We're on 58 points. I wasn't even tracking 50 points this year. What a lovely position to be in. Wearmouth now from the left-hand side crosses, looking for Matondo, but it doesn't quite get to him. I am now thinking I'd asked for even more money from the board when we changed our season expectations. We'd bumped up from bravely avoid relegation or bravely battle against relegation to avoid a relegation battle. But I think I probably could have safely bumped it all the way up to finish mid-table, because we are going to at least finish mid-table at this point, surely. Even if we lose every game from now on, we're not going to finish below Birmingham, as an example of a team that we should have already done better than for of that sentence. I don't know what's going on. Right, can we win this football match, please? I know I've not really commentated on the matches very much in this episode so far. What is Humphreys doing there? I mean, he's had a little whinge. In the last couple of weeks, he's been whinging that Watson's been playing ahead of him. He gets his chance in the team. To be fair to him, that's a lovely save. But why he's doing the double-handed punch, there's no excuse for a goalkeeper to punch a football with two hands. If you can get both hands to it, catch the thing. What a finish from Anthony Harris. 16th goal of the season for him. And was it Wearmouth with the cross? Wearmouth back to his prolific crossing best. And we had quite a long run of games where Bradley was getting the nod ahead of Wearmouth. Wearmouth has kind of forced his way back into the team in the last few matches at roughly the same time as Gregson. Well, the whole time Gregson was injured, I was kind of playing Teasdale and Bradley as our fullbacks. Gregson's fit again, right? Change both fullbacks around. Clearly, I like them as pairs. You can't really say partnerships because they're on opposite sides of the pitch, but they do kind of... It's not as if they balance each other out. One stays back when the other goes forward, the way proper fullback partnerships do. These two just both bomb on all the time, and both combinations of them do. There's literally no logic to why I dropped Wearmouth because Gregson was injured, but I did, and now they're both back. and Weymouth provided the goal. Although, is Gregson at fault for the cross here? Not really. It doesn't make it as far as the fullback. I think that's Sawinski trying to get the challenge in there. Who, again, he wasn't really at fault either. It's just a good piece of football from Birmingham. We can't really blame anybody. Maybe it would have been nice to see one of the centre-backs clear it, but I'm not going to get too fussy about it. Sometimes the opposition just play well. And that time, massive defensive issues. We have no left-back at all there, and Birmingham had 3 men over. So that time, we kind of deserved to concede a goal, but luckily their finishing was awful, as it is again there. We need to show some passion. Let's have 10 minutes of passion just before half-time, because we started well, and we've gone off the boil a little bit as the game has gone on. We are still nicely in the playoff picture, although we're level on points now with Middlesbrough and Huddersfield behind us. So a win would be very welcome at this point. So what are we going to do? We'll do the exact same team talk again. We've been the better team. Keep doing what you're doing. We'll be fine. This exact methodology worked against Wigan. Let's see if it works as well against Birmingham. This might be the new secret to winning football matches. Fernandez makes a tackle, plays it into Matondo. Matondo's got options ahead of him. He had both Moss and Harris available and ignored them both. Found Weymouth. There's Gregson. There's Sawinski. Sawinski plays it back to Gregson, who cannons it into the crossbar from the edge of the area, and it ends up going out for a Birmingham throw. I've got to question Matondo's decision-making a little bit there, because he did have both Harris and Moss available, and now we've conceded a goal. No suspicion of offside there at all? No? We're not even going to have a look, referee? I know we don't have little tellies here in England because we're still in the Stone Age. Who's that guy playing them on? No, not Harris. Anthony Harris. Well, we can't blame Anthony Harris. Even if he is playing everybody on side, it can't be his fault. That's just the way the world works. Let's get creative now. Passion didn't work. Perhaps creativity will. That guy looks like he never finished spelling his name when he was filling in his application form to play for Birmingham. Nicola just stops. Weird. Right, Rogers. Big ball over the top for Harris to chase. Can he redeem himself? Of course he can, because he's Anthony Bloomin' Harris. And Birmingham 2, home 2. Harris with his 17th goal of the season. Sometimes we still like to do the good old home lump. It used to work in the Northern Premier League Division 1 East. Ball over the top for Harris to chase. It still works in the Championship. Ball over the top for Harris to chase. And he grabs his second of the game to get us right back into things. And I am thinking Ollie Steer is going to be coming on for Matondo in the near future, unless Matondo is going to grab a goal as part of this move. There's Fernandez. It does work its way to Matondo, who just kind of stood there and didn't know what to do with it. And it's put us under pressure, and we've conceded a goal. Matondo is not having a very good game. A couple of instances now of just pretty poor decision making. He's a good finisher, but sometimes you've got to question what he's up to. That was just poor, and I don't want to see your poxy goal that come off the back of it. What I am going to do though is make a couple of early changes. So we are going to get Ollie Steer on to play with Harris again, and we're also going to get. I'm tempted to bring on Alex Carmichael in midfield, but I'm not going to. I'm going to bring on Knowles because he's actually much more natural playing the box-to-box midfielder. Carmichael is slowly forcing his way into the first team reckoning though, so we might make a player of Alex Carmichael yet. In fact, I think I'm going to bring him on here for Sawinski because he is quite an attacking option in midfield, and he played well in one of the FA Cup games where he actually played him as a striker. So fingers crossed, Alex Carmichael will salvage a career from the nonsense that was QPR. Really, La Rochelle Williams should have learnt from Carmichael's career path that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. But Carmichael is back, and hopefully we will sort him out. But Birmingham are going to beat us today, and I still don't want to see replays from stupid goals. This has been poor. Let's show some passion to end the game. But I think we've been done with the 4-2-3-1 again, and it's going to be 5. We cannot cope with a 4-2-3-1. And as time goes on, more and more teams are going to figure that out, and we are going to need to come up with a way to counter it, which probably is going to involve playing a more sensible system ourselves, or even just keep either playing someone wide further up the pitch or telling our fullbacks to actually play as fullbacks. But this isn't good when Birmingham are a team who aren't very good. They're lower mid-table. They have been in a relegation battle. Humphreys has been poor again there. They haven't even been that much better than us on the day. It's just they've exploited the gaps we've got in our system, and we haven't exploited them back again. So this has happened from time to time this season, but it needs to stop happening quite so often. We'd be in the automatic promotion picture if we didn't do this every now and again. Steer now plays it to Wearmouth and continues his run. Wearmouth gets the cross in, looking for Harris, but it was actually closer to flying into the goal itself. That was poor. Let's have an aggressive shout. Yeah, training tomorrow. There you go, giving him a proper yelling. Not happy at all. We need to sort that out. Right. We are still in the playoffs, though. So I said I'm not happy at all. I'm still happy a bit because we're still in the playoffs, which is still in the playoffs with a game in hand as well. So I've gone from not happy at all to happy a bit. Actually, can't really complain. But we won't tell the players that because they're coming into training tomorrow regardless. That several of them have gone home now. I can't cancel it. Right, we are going to be back for... Well, we've actually not got that many games left. So we'll definitely... Obviously, that one will be Sunday's episode, Barnsley and Bristol City. So we want to go about halfway between the two for Friday's episode. So I'm guessing we're looking at Doncaster and Blackburn on Friday and then finish the season off with Barnsley and Bristol City on Sunday. Hopefully with playoffs when we return to our normal schedule then the week after. That's the plan. If you have enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.